and you all will stand up. Okay.
I've got a question for Sheriff Donaldson. Half the people in this room know that I'm a very good friend of Mark, and the other half just found that out. I have never had any problem getting to see Mark if I'm going out to the sheriff's office, probably because I know the administrative assistant too. But my question is this: do the citizens of Ector County have access to our sheriff? And can they come out there and see you when and how?
All right, just talk real loud. Sure. Anybody that's ever come out there, they come in the foyer. Yes, we do have security because things are more dangerous now than they used to be. They come in, they talk to somebody, they call, my secretary says, somebody's out here to see you. Whether I know they're coming or not know they're coming, I said, yes, I go out, I meet them. If I'm there, which most of the time I'm there, they get to walk in, they get to see me, I bring them in the office and we talk to them. So that answers it.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? We've got 4 speakers. They're ready to answer the question. Yes, Jason.
I have a question for the Senate candidates. I'd like both of them to address how they feel, how far are they willing to go to allow some form of school choice to parents and kids and teachers, by the way. Can you guys come to the mic?
Yeah.
We're capturing it for posterity.
I've in every campaign I ran in that, I believe for school choice. And I'll tell you what, I believe competition helps put out a better product. Now, our public schools are great. I'm not taking anything away from our teachers. Let me tell you what I think we've done, and as a state, we, 10 years ago, we were spending $6,000 a student. Now we're spending about $12,000. We're spending more money, and I don't know that the product is twice as good. And part of that is because we have too many outside legislative initiatives on our schools that they can no longer focus on education. We just continue to heap on them parenting and counseling and all the things that we really have nothing to do with education. And we've got a whole administrative building down here in Odessa that I bet you half those people don't have anything to do with direct education. And it's not their fault, but we've done that to them. And until we start doing something differently, I believe we're headed down the wrong path. So that's just my thought.
Well, we're really talking about our school vouchers, as I said in 2004, and said, hey, I think that we need some voucher pilot programs. But they have to be done in coordination with the public schools because we're talking about one body of money going into those schools. I think as candidates, we have to be honest and accurate, and there are some school districts that have $12,000 per what we call weighted average daily attendance, but there's some of them have about 4,800. I don't know where Odessa's is, but it's nowhere near $12,000. And it's a system that is funded by formula, so every new kid, and that number grows by about 60 or 70,000 years, it's paid for by formula, so much per child drives those sorts of things. And that's just the system we have and the way it works. We're going to have to continue to work. But I guess my question is, if we have a bunch of people at Ector County Independent School District who aren't doing anything, why didn't somebody who's a school board member do something about it? That's what we're supposed to do as elected officials. It's what we did in the state of Texas. We started with the legislative office expenses and office holder expenses. We reduced those. And then we reduced everybody else in the state of Texas, all the other agencies, by 10%, except the area that goes to border security, where it looked like any day things we could sort of lose control. And we started seeing crimes committed on this side of the border, not just the other side. Thank you. Oh, do you want to use it?
Yeah, I can't talk loud. Are there any other questions? Or any other speakers? I want to thank you all for coming. I've got one more. Yes, go ahead.
The sheriff candidates, Mark, when I hear people in the population assistance talk meeting, one thing they ask about are jail ranks. So I know that you addressed some things there. Can you tell me specifically what you have done in the area of jail ranks? And then, Mr. Commander, can you tell me what you do in regards to those jail ranks?
Well, when the first group happened, we made some moves. We found, from what video we had, we found that some people were not doing what they were supposed to be doing. And they left some doors open that they shouldn't have left open. They weren't making proper checks on people. Those people were disciplined. Then we made a deal to move two of those guys to a position to where they were close to where the guards could watch them. I mean, right next to the guard station. Didn't happen right. Those people were disciplined. Just everything that could go wrong went wrong for them to get out. They weren't doing the rounds, and that's what jail standards came in and said, this is wrong. You're not doing that right. That's what we implemented. We started working real hard on that. Made sure that they did the proper thing. We disciplined those people. Those things were fixed. Jail standards came back in after, I think, a couple of months. They looked at what we had done, what we had implemented, and said, this is great, y'all are doing the right thing, you're doing it good. Reinstated us, and again, that was a year ago. Those two guys have been in jail, waiting to go to trial since that time, and they're still in jail, and there hasn't been any more problems with that. So we took care of the problem when it came about. Thank you.
Well, I do agree with the sheriff that everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong, but I believe it goes back to proper supervision of your employees, educating those people on what they need to be doing, and making sure they are doing those things in that jail. You need to walk through that jail yourself on occasions and observe what's going on in that jail. You just can't sit over in your office if that's what you do. You've got to be active throughout that whole department and make sure those people are receiving proper supervision and leadership that they deserve. And then those things won't happen.
Okay. Got a question here?
I'm Jen Black, and I worked for Secretary of State for 8 years. And there's no better testimony for somebody telling me trouble. He doesn't pay me that much. I won't get any more after this. But I want you to know that in that 8 years, he is honest. He is so, he's just one. He's a people person. He's doing it for the people, not for the money. And, sure, everybody makes mistakes and does things.
Do I have to pay you extra for this?
Lord, I have, but I don't want you to know I love him. I think he's a wonderful man and a wonderful candidate. Wonderful father.
Is my point breaking the rules here?
Another question for the Senate candidate. Knowing that Congress has the responsibility for establishing a uniform method of naturalization, we know that states are being left to deal with people coming over the border. So I guess both of you have a kind of a different question. As the senator, what have you done to lobby our congressmen and what would be your vision for what should be the standard for allowing someone to be a citizen of the United States? What have you lobbied them for? And for the candidate, the challenger, what would you advocate doing in that same realm?
Well, the answer is I don't spend a lot of time lobbying Congress because they don't listen. I talked to Mac Thornberry and Randy Naugebauer and Mike Conway because they do listen. Mike Conway was one of the first elected officials I heard say that it's Congress's responsibility to protect the border and we must do so. And what we have asked Congress to do is simply protect our border. If you recall, about a month ago, the administration announced that there were 1,200 troops at our border and they were taking them out. And I couldn't figure that out because what we need is 12,000 more on the border. What more important role does our government have to play, be it military or police, than protect our border? And so I have supported all the efforts that we have done in the state of Texas. My job is not just to lobby Congress, but to step in with state resources where Congress is deficient and do things like put an additional company of Texas Rangers in El Paso, when they deal with criminal investigations in the border, make sure that the border sheriff's departments have the money that they need so they can keep the border secure. We very successfully lobbied Congress because they were talking about taking then INS offices, out of cities in the interior of Texas, saying, well, it's a border problem. As the sheriff can tell you, people cross the border, and if they're going to look for money and places to peddle drugs, this is a good place. And so Ector County, Wichita Falls, which is not the 31st district, but they also suffer problems that come across with a porous border. And so it's not just a border issue. You were successful then, and I think you've got INS here, and they're doing what they always did.
No, I'm going to say number one, I support the immigrants that come over here legally and embrace our way of life and think our country, like the rest of us, that there's no place better to live than right here. That the worst day in the United States is the best day anywhere else. You know, we are a country of opportunity, and we've got to support the people that come in here that do it legally. Now, what I would do is find ways of what we need to start doing. There's an old saying, follow the money. We pay for way too much of what the immigrants use here today, the illegal immigrants that come over, the illegal aliens. We pay for their schooling, we pay for their medical bills, we pay for all the, and a dozen other things. The taxpayers that are sitting in this room, whether we want to or not, are supporting illegal aliens every day, every penny. So I think what we've got to do is we've got to cut that money off. You cut that money off, and I guarantee you that it'll start drying up. Maybe not all the way. I believe, like Mr. Sullinger, that the federal government needs to do a better job of protecting our borders everywhere. And it's not just the drug dealers that are coming across. What is really scary is you've got a lot of terrorist activity that's going to be coming across if we don't start protecting those borders better. And I think you'll see a day in Texas when you're going to have some of those type of activities happening. If we don't, I agree that Mr. Conway and some others are fighting an uphill battle with this administration who do not see the importance of that. But I think as a state, we have to look and see how much money we're paying in to those programs that are supporting that and cut them out. I mean, we've got that, you want to start cutting money? Let's go down that road. That's going to probably be the best way to stop these people from coming over, because some of them are coming over here because this is the land of opportunity. Some of them are coming over here to do the very things like Mr. Donaldson has to deal with every day, to push their dope and to make sure that they have a good income from illegal activities. So I think we've got to address those places where we spend money as a state to support that type of activity. And we are, not consciously, but probably, just through those programs.
Okay, well, I want to thank our speakers. Thank you all.